When it comes to China, many people will imagine bustling cities, ancient walls, or relics with a thousand-year history. But hidden deep beneath the urban shell, there are wonders that even the natives are stunned to discover. These are not just ancient ruins or magnificent man-made structures, but strange, dangerous, and mysterious places that seem unreal. 1. The Skyplank Road of Mount Huashan, a path suspended between life and legend. Have you ever imagined walking on a wooden plank, just 30 centimeters wide, with nothing beneath you but 600 meters of open air and jagged cliffs below? This is not a dream. It's not a scene from an ancient martial arts film. It's real, and it exists on Mount Huashan in China's Shanxi province. Mount Huashan is one of the 5 great mountains of China, revered for centuries not only as a site of Taoist pilgrimage, but also as a natural fortress of stone, cloud, and silence. But what sets this mountain apart from all others is a single spine-chilling path. The Skyplank Road. Built along a near-vertical cliffside, this ancient walkway consists of nothing more than aged wooden boards bolted to the mountain rock. No railings, no guardrails, just a narrow path hanging in midair. Those brave enough to walk it must strap themselves to a safety harness and cling to iron chains hammered into the rock. One misstep could be fatal. But despite the danger, or perhaps because of it, thrill-seekers from around the world continue to flock to this precarious path each year, hungry for an experience that straddles the line between fear and exhilaration. The origin of this terrifying trail traces back over 700 years to a Taoist sage named Hengshan. Seeking solitude and spiritual purity, he carved out this path to access secluded meditation caves high on the mountain face. Little did he know that centuries later, his quiet retreat would become one of the world's most dangerous tourist attractions. But the journey is not just about danger. When climbers finally reach the peak at over 2,100 meters, they are rewarded with a view that feels almost divine. The jagged peaks of Huashan rise like fingers reaching into the sky, and far in the distance, the yellow river winds silently through the plains, like a golden thread stitching the landscape together. There is even a tea house near the summit where you can sip hot tea made from rainwater and melted snow, while clouds drift past your window like ghosts of ancient pilgrims. Mount Huashan's Skyplank Road is more than a physical challenge. It's a confrontation with mortality, a place where every heartbeat becomes louder and every breath feels more precious. Here, on a ledge between earth and sky, you don't just walk a path, you remember what it means to be alive. 2. Fanlong Road, the dragon that crawls through the sky. Deep within the untamed lands of Xinjiang, at the dizzying altitude of 4,100 meters above sea level, lies a road so ancient, so perilous, that even the wind seems to hesitate as it whispers through the mountain passes. This is Fanlong Road, the Black Dragon Road, one of the oldest and most dangerous roads in all of China. Seen from above, the road snakes through the Pamir Plateau in long, twisting coils. It looks like a dragon, a black one, coiled tightly against the rugged terrain, its body formed by switchbacks, hairpin turns, and heart-stopping drops. Its name is not poetic metaphor. It is lived reality. To drive Fanlong Road is to ride the back of a mythic beast, to dance with danger at every bend. This path is so narrow that only a single small vehicle can pass through at a time. On one side, there's a wall of rock, sharp and unforgiving. On the other, a plunging abyss into valleys so deep they disappear into the mist. There are no guardrails, no barriers, just the raw edge of earth and sky. Drivers must cling to the wheel with complete focus, for even the smallest distraction could spell disaster. But there is something majestic here too. As you ascend, the air grows thinner, but the landscape grows larger. Snow-covered peaks pierce the heavens. Glacial streams etch silver lines across the brown earth. Far below, the yellow river flows like a serpent made of sunlight. Every turn of the road reveals a new vista, a new test of courage, a new proof that nature still holds dominion over man. At the end of this grueling journey, travelers are greeted by the Yellow River Stone Forest National Geopark, a surreal landscape of rock formations sculpted by time itself. Massive pillars of stone rise from the earth like ancient sentinels, whispering stories millions of years old. It is a place where geology becomes art and silence becomes sacred. Fanlong Road is not merely a road, it is a rite of passage, a trial of spirit. It is a question posed by the mountains. Do you dare? To travel here is to know what it means to surrender to the sublime, to face nature in its most untamed form and emerge, not unscarred but transformed. 3. The 99 Bends of Tianmen Mountain. Road to the Gate of Heaven. High above the city of Zhangjiajie in Yunnan province, there exists a road so winding, so unnaturally serpentine that from the sky it looks like a giant ribbon tossed by the gods themselves. This is the road to Tianmen Mountain, Heaven's Gate Mountain, and the path to one of China's most surreal natural landmarks. They call it the 99 Bends, a road carved into the face of the mountain, stretching 11 kilometers with 99 sharp turns, like the vertebrae of a dragon coiled in the sky. No two bends are the same. Some twist tightly into hairpin loops, others curve just wide enough to test the nerves of even the most seasoned drivers. It's a place where the road becomes a puzzle and every turn feels like the edge of a blade, and at the very top of this ascent lies a staircase. Not just any staircase, but one with 999 steps carved straight into the mountain, leading toward a giant hole in the rock that locals believe connects heaven and earth. This is Tianmen Cave, also known as Heaven's Gate. According to legend, the cave was formed after a cataclysmic event, perhaps a great flood or a celestial collision, that caused the mountain's heart to split open. The result is a gaping archway 131 meters tall, so large it seems impossible that it formed naturally. Pilgrims, adventurers, and dreamers alike come to climb its 999 steps, believing that each one brings them closer to the divine. But the climb is no small feat. As you ascend, the air grows colder, the wind sharper, and the clouds begin to wrap around you like a shroud. By the time you reach the top, it feels as though you've stepped into another realm entirely. The mountain, now far below, is veiled in mist. The world feels distant, quiet, otherworldly. There is a strange magic to this place. Not just in its numbers, 99 bends, 999 steps, but in its presence. The mountain does not shout, it waits, it watches, and it offers no reward to those who do not earn their way through sweat, fear, and awe. Driving up to Tianmen Mountain is not merely an act of transportation. It is a journey into symbolism. The twists represent life's unpredictable paths. The climb reflects our struggles to rise above them. And the gate at the top, open, immense, impossible, reminds us that some doors can only be reached by those who dare to ascend. 4. The whispering deserts of Taklamakan, where the sand hides secrets in the heart of China's Xinjiang Uyghur autonomous region, lies a sea of golden silence. So vast, so unforgiving that even the locals speak of it with reverent caution. This is the Taklamakan Desert, a name that means, in one translation, "Go in and you may never come out." And those who do enter, do so at their own peril. Covering more than 330,000 square kilometers, Taklamakan is one of the largest shifting sand deserts on Earth. Its dunes rise like frozen waves, some reaching heights of 300 meters, shaped by winds that never seem to sleep. From above, it looks like another planet. No trees, no rivers, just endless whispering sand. But the desert does more than intimidate. It conceals. Beneath its windswept surface lie secrets swallowed by time. Entire cities, trade routes, and ancient temples buried under centuries of sandstorms. This desert was once part of the fabled Silk Road, and it holds the bones and belongings of those who dared to cross it. Horses, traders, nomads, all now ghosts beneath the dunes. In recent decades, archaeologists have unearthed the remnants of lost civilizations from the desert's grip. Mummified bodies eerily preserved by the arid climate. Manuscripts written in forgotten scripts. Buddhist relics buried under layers of shifting dust. Each discovery peels back a veil of time, revealing a desert that is far from dead. It remembers. But Taklamakan also sings. Visitors speak of the eerie hum that drifts across the dunes at night, a sound like distant flutes playing to the wind. Scientists call it singing sand, a rare phenomenon where dry grains vibrate together in just the right conditions. To travelers, it feels like the desert itself is speaking. The Taklamakan is not a place of comfort. It is not meant to be tamed, but it draws people in, explorers, scholars, and seekers of mystery. For those who listen, its dunes offer more than sand. They offer stories. There is something hauntingly beautiful about standing in the Taklamakan at dusk. The horizon glows in soft hues of fire and gold. The sky stretches wider than you've ever seen. And in that vastness you feel it, not fear but awe, as if the earth is whispering its oldest secrets just beyond your hearing. This is not merely a desert. It is a memory made of wind and silence, a monument to the forgotten, and a reminder that even the most lifeless places are alive with history. 5. The blood-red lake of Badayan Jaran, a crimson mystery in the sand. Amid the rolling dunes of the Badayan Jaran Desert, a place where wind shapes mountains of sand and silence rules the land, there lies a lake so strange, so visually jarring that it seems to belong more to a dream than to earth. Locals call it Galeto. To those who first see it from above, it appears as a crimson tear carved into the desert floor. This is the blood-red lake of Badayan Jaran. The lake is small, hidden, and nearly unreachable, tucked away like a secret that nature keeps close to its chest. Surrounded by golden sands and a sky that blazes with heat, the water glows a deep, unnatural red, so rich it looks like ink spilled across parchment. It is not the red of sunset. It is the red of rust, of life, of blood, and no one knows for sure why. Scientists believe the answer may lie in salt-loving microbes or ancient minerals trapped deep beneath the sand. Others suggest a chemical reaction between high salinity and algae. But for the nomads who live nearby, the lake has always been something more, a sacred, mysterious place. Its water, they say, has healing properties. Its presence, a message from the earth itself. The Lake of Galeto is just one of over 140 lakes scattered throughout the Badayan Jaran Desert, making this arid sea of dunes unlike any other on the planet. Here, where rainfall is less than 40 millimeters a year, water should be impossible. And yet, in this impossibility, life persists. Some of the lakes are freshwater, others are saltier than the ocean, but none are like Galeto. Even the desert around it seems to hush in its presence. The sand here doesn't just move, it sings. When the wind rushes over the dunes in just the right way, it produces a low, haunting hum that echoes across the emptiness. Travelers describe it as the sound of the desert breathing, or perhaps remembering. The phenomenon is real, known as singing sand, but it feels like something more, a song without a singer, a memory without a voice. The Badayan Jaran Desert itself is a paradox. It is home to the tallest sand dunes in the world, some over 500 meters high. Yet beneath these dunes lies hidden water, ancient lakes, and echoes of forgotten time. For centuries, it has remained one of the least explored regions in China, and even now, parts of it remain untouched by human footprints. To stand on the edge of Lake Galeto is to question what you know about the world. How can such beauty exist in such desolation? How can red bloom in a place of dust and gold? And why does something about it feel familiar, as if the earth is trying to remind you of something you've forgotten? This lake, with its impossible color and impossible existence, is more than just a curiosity. It is a symbol of the hidden miracles that live beyond the maps in places where only the bold dare to wander. A secret in plain sight, a red mirror reflecting the mysteries we have yet to understand. 6. The cold sands of the Gobi Desert, where dinosaurs slept and snow falls on silence. Most people, when they hear the word desert, imagine heat, blistering sun, mirages, endless waves of golden sand under a burning sky. But the Gobi Desert breaks every rule. Stretching across northern China and southern Mongolia, the Gobi is one of the largest deserts on Earth. But it is not a place of fire. It is a place of ice, wind, silence, and forgotten giants. Unlike the Sahara's rippling dunes, the Gobi's terrain is rugged, varied, and hauntingly stark. One moment you're standing on cracked earth, the next on jagged black rocks, then suddenly surrounded by soft frost-covered dunes. The Gobi is not hot, it is cold. In winter, temperatures plunge below -40 degrees Celsius. In summer, they can soar above 40. It is a land of extremes where seasons clash and the atmosphere feels like a breath held too long. And yet, this frozen desert holds some of the most incredible secrets in natural history. It was here in the early 20th century that paleontologists first discovered dinosaur eggs. Perfectly preserved in stone, untouched for over 80 million years. Whole nests, fossilized mid-motion, frozen in time by the shifting sands. Velociraptors, protoceratops. Unknown species that once roamed this silent place when it was not a desert but a lush cradle of life. Today, visitors still stumble upon fossil fragments poking from the ground after windstorms. And in the southern reaches, strange red cliffs known as the Flaming Cliffs rise from the earth like ancient bones. When the sun sets, these cliffs glow as if burning from within, casting shadows of prehistoric memories. But the Gobi doesn't only whisper of the past, it also stuns in the present. Snow falls here. Thick, soft, disorienting snow that settles quietly on dunes like powdered sugar on a sleeping world. You can walk in the Gobi and leave footsteps not in sand, but in snow. The juxtaposition is surreal, a desert wearing winter's clothes, a world turned upside down, and then, just when you think you've seen everything, the desert reveals its lakes, mirrored oases formed by ancient groundwater. Some shimmer blue, others are dark, still and mirror-like, reflecting stars at night as if the heavens have fallen to earth. There are islands too, some natural, others shaped by human hands. Once these islands served as ferry stations on the Silk Road. Traders would rest here, caravans would cross paths, and stories would be shared under desert moons. The ruins still stand, hollow, worn and beautiful. The Gobi is more than a desert, it is a contradiction, a fossil bed, a frozen ocean of time. It reminds us that mystery does not always roar. Sometimes it waits in silence, covered in snow. To walk the Gobi is to walk through eras, through memory, through the breath of creatures that no longer exist. It is not a place for comfort, but for awe, because in this desert of silence, even the wind remembers. 7. Mount Eme, the sacred summit of light and legend. There are mountains you climb for the view, and then there are mountains you climb to touch something ancient, something sacred. Mount Eme, rising 3,099 meters into the clouds of Sichuan province, is not merely a peak. It is a temple in the sky, a place where nature and the divine breathe the same air. Recognized as one of China's 4 sacred Buddhist mountains, Mount Eme has long been a sanctuary for monks, pilgrims, and seekers of truth. But it is more than a religious site. It is a realm suspended between heaven and earth, shrouded in mist, cloaked in pine, and layered with centuries of myth and meditation. Here, sunlight behaves like nowhere else. At dawn, the summit is often wrapped in a rare optical phenomenon known as the Buddha's halo, a circular rainbow of light that appears when sunlight filters through mountain fog. Sometimes, within this ring of light, the shadow of a climber is reflected back, magnified and surrounded by iridescent colors. To see your own silhouette framed in a halo, standing on a sacred peak, is to feel as if you've stumbled into a vision. Legends say that Mount Imei was once home to powerful warrior monks, masters of an ancient martial art known only to the mountain's hidden sects. Generations of storytellers and novels, like those of Jin Yong, have immortalized Mount Imei as the birthplace of sword-wielding priestesses and sacred duels fought at dawn. But beyond fiction lies real history. The mountain is dotted with over 30 Buddhist temples, many perched on cliffsides or tucked into dense forests, their golden roofs catching the morning light like flames. The most famous of these is the Golden Summit Temple, where a massive glimmering statue of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva rides atop a white elephant staring out across the sea of clouds. To climb Mount Imei is to rise through layers of transformation. At the base, the world is green and warm, filled with monkeys and thick bamboo groves. As you ascend, the air cools, the trees thin, the clouds draw near. By the time you reach the summit, you are no longer in the world below. You are in the world of prayer, silence, and sky. Even the stairs here seem to whisper. Pilgrims climb them barefoot, chanting softly, their footsteps echoing through time. At night, lanterns flicker outside temples like stars that have fallen to earth. There's a moment just before dawn, when all is still. You stand on the golden summit, surrounded by nothing but wind and mist. Then, suddenly, the first light breaks through the clouds. The sun rises, and with it, the mountain reveals itself all at once. Golden, green, sacred, alive. Mount Imei is not a place you visit. It is a place that visits you, that changes you, that leaves you standing at the edge of something both vast and intimate, a summit where light becomes legend. 8. The Shaolin Temple, birthplace of martial wisdom and monastic power. Tucked into the forested slopes of Mount Song in Henan Province, stands a place that feels more like myth than stone. The Shaolin Temple. It is the cradle of Kung Fu, the temple of discipline, a sanctuary where silence and strength have walked hand in hand. For over 500 years, to the world, Shaolin means action. Leaping monks, lightning-fast fists, bodies breaking boards and bending steel. But here at the source, you find something much quieter. You find breath. You find stillness. You find a way of life carved not from power but from patience. Founded in 495 AD during the Northern Wei dynasty, the Shaolin Temple began as a Buddhist monastery, home to monks devoted to the teachings of Bodhidharma. It is said that this Indian monk, after meditating in a cave for 9 years, emerged with a mind as clear as glass and a body hardened by stillness. His techniques of internal training would become the foundation of Shaolin martial arts. But Shaolin Kung Fu is not just about combat. It is a philosophy in motion. Every movement is rooted in mindfulness, every strike a lesson in restraint. The monks here train not to fight the world, but to master themselves. Their bodies become instruments, their spirits become still. The temple grounds are a testament to this sacred balance. Tall stone walls echo with the sounds of wooden staffs clashing in rhythm. Prayer flags flutter above silent courtyards. Ancient trees, twisted with age, mark the passage of generations. And beneath the main hall, worn stone floors bear the imprint of thousands of monk feet. Indentations carved not by time but by repetition. Discipline, worn into stone. Outside, a forest of pagodas rises like a chessboard of memory. This is the Pagoda Forest, an eternal resting place for generations of monks, each pagoda marking a life devoted to the balance of body, mind, and spirit. Their legacy lives not in words, but in movement, in silence, in stone. Over the centuries, the Shaolin Temple has endured fires, wars, and revolutions. At times, it was abandoned, at others destroyed, but like the monks who train within its walls, it always rose again, stronger, wiser, still. In modern times, Shaolin has become a symbol, a global icon, yet the heart of it remains unchanged. Monks still rise before the sun, still bow before the Buddha, still move with the grace of water and the force of wind. To stand within the Shaolin Temple is to feel time slow down. You hear the sound of distant chanting. You feel the thud of feet on stone. You sense a legacy that moves not forward or backward, but inward. Shaolin is not a place, it is a practice, a question, a quiet challenge to master your mind so that no enemy ever can. 9. Wudang Mountains, where Taoism breathes in the wind. Knows Tai Chi in the gentle mists of Hubei province, a mountain range rises not with violence, but with grace. These are the Wudang Mountains, a sacred land of Taoist legend, flowing rivers, and timeless silence. Unlike the aggressive spikes of other Chinese peaks, Wudang ascends like a thought, soft, spiral, eternal. This is not just geography, it is philosophy carved in stone. Wudang is the heartland of Taoism, one of the oldest and most profound spiritual traditions in China. Here, temples cling to cliffsides like ancient birds, watching over valleys that haven't changed in centuries. Waterfalls cascade with a calm rhythm, winding through forests that glow gold in autumn. The landscape is not tamed, it is listened to. But Wudang is more than stillness. It is the birthplace of internal martial arts, movements that are more poetry than power. Here, Tai Chi was born, not as a sport, not as a performance, but as a meditation in motion. In Wudang, martial arts are not for battle. They are for balance. The body flows like water. The breath becomes the anchor. Every gesture, whether a slow spiral or a sudden snap, is in harmony with the Tao, the way of nature. To train here is not to become stronger, it is to become more empty, more aware. The mountain's most iconic symbol is the Golden Hall of Wudang, perched atop Tianzhu Peak at over 1,600 meters above sea level. This hall, built entirely of bronze in the 15th century, glows at sunrise like fire held in stillness. Within, statues of Taoist immortals sit with gentle smiles, their eyes fixed not on heaven, but on the heart. Wudang's temples are not grand in the worldly sense. They are intimate, rooted, filled with incense smoke, the sound of bamboo flutes and the quiet footsteps of wandering monks. At dusk, the fog rolls in like silk across the rooftops. Lanterns flicker. Bells chime softly in the wind. It feels like the mountain is breathing with you. Legends say that the great Taoist sage Jiang Sanfeng once lived here, an immortal hermit who developed the philosophy of internal martial arts. Some say he was over 300 years old. Others believe he never died, simply dissolved into mist and memory. But his teachings remain. Soft overcomes hard, yielding overcomes force. In a world driven by speed and struggle, Wudang offers another path, the way of stillness, of harmony, of listening. To walk its trails is to feel the weight of ambition fall away. To move through its forests is to rediscover rhythm. To stand beneath its stars is to realize that the universe doesn't speak in noise, it whispers, and the wind that glides through Wudang still carries those whispers. 10. The Lashan Giant Buddha, a colossus carved from faith and stone where 3 rivers converge in Sichuan province, and cliffs rise like walls of time. There sits a figure so vast, so serene that boats tremble as they pass beneath its gaze. This is the Xi'an giant Buddha, 71 meters of stone and silence. A guardian of the waters. A monument to belief, carved directly into the face of Mount Lingyun more than 1,300 years ago. The Xi'an Buddha is the largest stone Buddha in the world. Its ears alone measure over 7 meters. Its shoulders stretch wider than a basketball court, its feet resting gently on the riverbank. Could each seat more than 100 people? And yet, despite its scale, there is no sense of heaviness. The statue does not loom. It watches. It waits. The story of its creation is as awe-inspiring as the statue itself. During the Tang dynasty, the confluence of the Min River, Dadu River, and Qingyi River was treacherous. Raging currents and unpredictable whirlpools often capsized passing ships. A Buddhist monk named Hai Tong believed that by carving a sacred statue at this junction, the Buddha's presence would calm the waters and protect the people. For years, he begged for donations, enduring mockery and theft. Legend says that when corrupt officials tried to steal the money he'd raised, Hai Tong gouged out his own eye to prove his sincerity. His message was clear: this statue was not just stone, it was sacrifice. After his death, the work continued, passed down through generations. Craftsmen worked tirelessly, sculpting not just a figure but an entire drainage system within the mountain to protect it from erosion. The result is not only an artistic triumph but an engineering marvel. Even today, during heavy rain, the internal channels quietly carry water away, preserving the serenity of the Buddha's face. Visitors who climb the steep stairways to meet his gaze often fall silent. There is something about his expression, eyes half closed in eternal meditation, lips curved in a faint, knowing smile that stills the heart. It's not just a statue, it's a presence. From the river, the Buddha seems to emerge from the mountain itself, as if earth has given birth to divinity. He sits with hands resting gently on his knees, looking out not at the sky, but at us. At the world with all its noise and fear, and somehow beneath that gaze, the river is quiet. The Xi'an giant Buddha reminds us of what faith can build, not in haste or conquest, but in patience, in vision, in stone slowly shaped by human hands and timeless hope. To stand before him is to feel both small and held, to remember that greatness does not always come with force. Sometimes it arrives in silence, carved from rock, and waits for us to see.